What's up guys, this is Void of Dust Gaming, your channel for fresh Arena of Valor content, and today I want to bring you a new guide, a new beginner's guide for the mage Krixi, the fairy or the class skipper, in this case with this beautiful skin. First of all, I want to go with you through the skill section to go briefly and talk about what she's capable of, what is her passive, what are her skills, and how do you actually use them. We're talking about which talent fits best with her, and then we're going to take a closer look on the build. So that means what items we're going to take, what arcana are working nicely on her, and what kind of enchantments you should pick. And then afterwards I've got some gameplay where you can see the devastating damage this Krixi is actually bringing towards this battlefield, because as you can see, right here, she got 5 points in damage. And while I was a little bit skeptical when I was playing her again after quite some time, I can now confirm that this is the absolute truth. Krixi has become much stronger. I don't know how this happened. She hasn't been touched by any of the latest patches, but that said, the mage resistance items have been touched, but usually marksmen and other mages are not really building them, so I don't really think that this is the effect. I think they tweaked something in the background that they did not tell us about, because now the damage is skyrocketing again. I wasn't amused when I was playing her a couple of months ago, and I really had the feeling the damage is completely missing, and I even made a video about that. You can find it here in my video section. So first of all, I want to go with you through the skills, and let's start with the passive, should we? So this is called Flutterer, and the good thing for all the beginners out there and for all the lazy people who do not want to read entire books of descriptions here, it's super straightforward. Krixi is a really straightforward hero. She's got basically one spell which is focused on CC, which is a knockup, and the rest is pure damage, and she's got this lovely utility move. Whenever you hit an enemy with a skill, you gain 25% movement for 2 seconds. So this is actually quite good because she doesn't have any dash at all. That's really sad. She's pretty much reliant on this, and what you can do with that is you can actually harass quite well and poke the enemies, especially with your first ability, because it's your main source of damage. So I think pretty straightforward. Speed increase on the passive, okay, we got that. So let's start off with the first real spell. So it's not really that costly. You are going to summon some kind of projectile. It's a Krixi. Whatever. It's a projectile that flies into one direction, and when it hit the end of its path, it's going to return like a boomerang. And this is actually something that you can use in your advantage, or to your advantage, because you can hit an enemy twice. Whenever it hits multiple enemies, as you can read here in the second part, the damage is decreased by 20%, down to 40 of the original damage, okay? So you should basically focus on one single target if that's possible, but at the beginning of the laning phase, that's always the situation, so I don't really think that this is going to be a huge drawback. Base damage is going to increase quite nicely from 525 to 925, and that is just the damage from yourself. Of course, you are going to get plus 80% ability power, so this is going to be huge. Cooldown is 6 seconds. You can decrease that with a lot of items, so I think this is your bread and butter. Second spell is called Nature's Wrath. It's a knockup effect, as I already said. This is your CC spell. So this is the spell that you are going to use if you want to start building up damage. Usually what you're going to do is you are going to use your second spell followed up immediately by your first spell, because your second spell, Nature's Wrath, ensures that you are going to hit an enemy twice, because it's 1.5 seconds, and that's usually long enough to travel the distance with the fairy, and then the fairy comes back, and that should be sufficient enough to hit enemies 2 times. Damage is not really that great. It's half of your first spell, but it's there. It's damage, and of course we're going to take this. Talking about the ult, which is your last spell, she is going to summon a meteor shower that is surrounding you. So you've got a little circle, and in that circle, the meteors are coming down from the sky. you have a 15% movement increase, which helps to follow up enemies, and you're going to deal 300 magic damage with each hit, going up to 460, and you can hit an enemy 4 times, which sums up to around 1,850, 1,840 damage to be precise, which is actually quite nice. So what you can do is basically start the combo with your S2. Before that, you have activated your ultimate. So you start with the ultimate, then you are going straight into S2, and then you are going to follow up with your S1, and basically any enemy which is a little bit light armored should be dead. That's that point. So as she doesn't have any sort of dash or something, when we have talked about the spells, I would advise you to take the flicker ability. You can also take sprint. I think I like flicker a little bit more because it actually gives you the possibility to travel through terrain, which means that you can just jump over a wall. But that makes it really, really, really good because the spell is just really, really good to follow up enemies. The spell is good to retreat from the action and get behind cover. So I like flicker a little bit more, but sprint actually makes sense because when you are ulting in, you can just increase the speed and try to get more enemies into that area damage. So sprint is okay, but I think flicker is the right choice on her. When we talked about all these sorts of things, next thing should be talking about the equipment. As you guys have seen, she is based on damage. So this is a damage mage. She's going to harass the enemies. She's going to deal as much damage as possible. And therefore, what I'm going to advise you is to take these items here. Boomstick, the Tome of the Reaper, and the Diadem are your bread and butter items. These are the ones where the damage comes from, as well as the Soul Prison, reducing targets HP regeneration. That's really important nowadays in the current meta. I'm taking Gilded Greaves here because I want to use the speed buff to the very best extent. If you find yourself on lacking damage, which I don't think that you will, but if you do, you can of course take the enchanted kicks for some additional magic penetration, and you can take the flashy boots if you want to dash out even more damage, or dish out even more damage. To complement those, I've got Staff of Null here. That's going to get you some magical penetration, and I've taken the Arctic Orb here because I like the stasis effect that you are going to be invincible for 2 seconds. This really helps if there is a complicated team fight. It's my last item, so you can build Holy of Holies if you want to have the maximum damage on her, but I have run this build and I think it runs fairly well. Icona-wise, I went with my mage damage build. The names have changed completely, so don't get confused if you're watching my old videos. The stuff is the same since about 3 years. Now it's called Nomad. We're taking Nomad. Level 3, we're taking Vampire level 3, and we're taking Hexer, which has been Hex before. That should be Violate, and that's... I forgot the names. I talked about these things for ages, and now I don't even know the names anymore. So this was... I think it was Violate, I suppose. I don't know. Basically, it's level 3. You can tell from the effects what they do. What we're going to do is we get 90 ability power, some magic penetration, lifesteal, which is actually quite okay. It's 10%. It's not something to write home about, but we are going to take it. And of course, some cooldown reduction, which helps us, especially at the beginning of the game, because later on you're going to build some items. So this is this. Enchantment-wise, I've decided to take a mix between utility, surveyability on the one hand, and increasing our damage on the other hand. So utility wise, I'm going with mana flow, which was mana refill before. You're just going to recover some mana when you hit something with a skill or an attack. So that's that, because you're going to use a lot of your spells and the cooldown is actually pretty short. I advise you to take this. It's actually quite good, and you can see for yourself in the upcoming gameplay. And from the last thing, I'm going with the Angelic Guardian Sanctum Light. I know, yes, you can boost your damage even further, but I'm a safe person, safety first, so I would rather take this in order to minimize the damage that you're going to receive, especially if you're fighting against another Krixi, as we're going to see in the upcoming video. This actually helps to prevent you from being killed all the time. Of course, there's a cooldown in it, but I really like it. You get a shield, movement speed, and magic lifesteal. So what's not to love about this? And then to complement the build, we've got Holy Light for some additional magic penetration. We've got Hellfire here for some additional magic damage, and we've got Ghostly Claw, which was Deadly Claw before, gain a fixed amount of attack damage and ability power. So this is something that we can take here as well and get some more damage in. So this is the build. If you like these kind of videos and you haven't subscribed to my channel, make sure to hit the subscription button and put on the notifications bell, because there are going to be a lot of new beginners guides throughout the year, so you're not missing any of these. If you enjoyed the video and you were entertained, of course a like is always appreciated, because it helps me grow this channel, and I'm always happy to read your thoughts and comments in the comment section below, so feel free to go there and share some thoughts with me. And now it's time for some gameplay. I hope you guys are going to enjoy it. Alright, so here we go. I started the game a couple of seconds already in, just to have this short animation paused, and I think it's mainly a fight at the beginning that we're going to fight against the Krixi, so my advice would be to clear the wave as fast as possible. If the wave is clear, look if there is anyone nearby. For example, like in this situation where Krixi is hanging around, and if there is the opportunity to go in and actually deal some damage on one of the side lanes to do, or the top lane, you should go there and you should kill things. That is your main duty, so keep your middle lane clear. And as soon as this task has been achieved, you can always feel free to roam to any of those sides to give your team really much needed support. As you can see, the Krixi has already been going down with no effect so far, because Malok is still alive and healthy, chilling under the tower. That's the way how you should play it. And now our Pain has made way into the lane. Omen is there, so a lot of things going on, and I think that was actually quite useful to have so many people there in order to secure it. Now I've been fighting against Talon-Nus. As I said, this is basically the combo. You should always use your S2 beforehand. I didn't do it, but this is basically how you should play it. And look at that, now we're playing the full combo. Dum dum dum, here we go, and this is how you get the kills in. It's as simple as that. You just need to pay attention to the enemy, and if you're fighting against something which is low health or having low armor profile, such as Talon-Nus against magic attacks, it is basically free farm. So keep that in mind. For example, if I would play against that Krixi, I would go in with my S2, but it basically depends a little bit on who has the upper hand in terms of the spell. So now we are fighting against Yorn. Unfortunately, that was a little bit lackluster. First ability was, I think, nicely done. The second wasn't. I was kill greedy, and I need to explain this in order to explain some of the situations that you guys are going to see. So I was a little bit kill greedy because I was about to achieve a certain type of mission, which forced me to have a certain amount of kills on the one hand, and I needed to get most damage on the other hand. So this is like the stuff that I needed to do for the program that I'm participating in, and therefore I needed to secure those kills, and therefore I'm playing a little bit more offensively than I would usually do when playing Krixi, and you can tell that whenever I get killed in really strange situations, this is the kill pressure that I have put myself under. So don't be surprised if you see something which you might find questionable. That is always the case when I go in and I need to kill things. As we are doing here, no, there is nothing bad about this. Again, I used my ultimate, afterwards I used my second ability, and then I was finishing Krixi off with my first ability. I think that was well executed, and that is the stuff that I was talking about in the skills section. As you can see, we're hitting level 6, and the combination of our second ability and our first ability is now enough to kill a normal minion wave that doesn't have a cannoneer. So wave play is actually quite good. You can see that I've done a better job on leveling than this Krixi did, and now she needs to get out And we do get another kill because of our ultimate here. The range was sufficient enough to get her killed. And I think it went really, really nicely so far. So 4 minutes played, 4 kills. That is the kill count. And I think this video just nicely shows how great the damage output of Krixi is nowadays. And here we go, another dead Telenas. You should never ever be so upfront if you are playing against range heroes. I mean, Laville was there as well, so it wasn't only being a danger to him in terms of myself, but of course Laville was also there, so I don't really see why Telenas was playing upfront as she did. And even Arthur, the tank who's got a good amount of armor and a good amount of magic resistance and a good amount, of course, of health, does not really stand too much of a chance. Of course, we are not killing him, but we're taking good chunks of his health pool while just throwing out our spells, and we can return back to safety without any problems because we do get this nice little speed buff whenever we hit something. And that's actually really, really nicely. So here we go again. 2 enemies that we are fighting against. This is a kill. This is a double kill. So we've got 7 kills in under 6 minutes already. The game is looking really, really good. I was super cheered. I knew that I would like to make a guide. So of course I was hoping that this video would go well and that I would be able to get some of the stuff that I needed to do for my as my challenge. And looking at my kill score with 7 kills, I was in a really positive mind that I would be able to do it. And now we need to secure another kill because we still got some kills to make. Unfortunately, we can't deal any damage to this poor soul. I think I completely misguided the way that he was about to flee. And so I wasn't able to get any of him. Here I used Flicker just to show you why Flicker is so good. Sprint would have just had me in the position here being killed. And now I'm being stupid. It looked really, really strange, the animation here, but her first skill killed me when I was doing it for the first time in this video, because this is the second time. When you see it, you know it. When I was looking at it at first, I thought, like, what killed me? What was this, some kind of red buff or something? But it clearly was her first ability. It was just not shown in when it was activated at first. So my team is looking good so far. 7 minutes played. We already have closed into the inner circle of towers, so that's actually quite bright. And as you can see, our team composition was a normal one, not as the enemies that we were playing against that had 2 AD carries. I think that was some kind of misconception that they had there. And those two who are basically the same. So you've got Yorn, who's long range, not crazy damage, but basically they've got more or less the same profile. So this is not really that helpful. I got a kill here, so this is the 8th kill, and now it was really important to get Arthur here, and unfortunately his second ability was enough to get me down, but we do get another kill. And as you can see, my team is completely in the lead, and with 8 kills in total, I think we have just had a good amount of impact, or good enough impact on that game with Krixi. She's a really strong mage right now. I don't think that she has the damage that Yue or Natalia can bring to the table in terms of raw damage, but I think she has a really good damage profile, and I was really surprised playing her again. This is the second time I played her a couple of days ago. The dog is in his bed. So I was really surprised because I was not happy with her damage when I was playing her a couple of months before, as I already said. But if you skipped that part, I was just doing a video on the damage that I was kind of missing. I knew that she was doing better, and I was really surprised when we got to play her again and the damage actually felt the way that Krixi has been in the past. And to kind of bring more detail or more information to that point, I even played Krixi with 3 different layouts. I think I had her playing with the shield, the yellow shield here from the enchantment section. I played her with the former called Holy Thunder rune, and I've played her with the red one where you do get ability cooldown when you hit the ultimate. So I don't really know what they changed, but she feels a lot different than she used to, and I can assure you that I didn't do any changes on the equipment or the arcana, so it must have been something about the enchantments. And yeah, the damage is there again, and it feels actually quite nice to play her, because I like this kind of nuking ability that she has by just activating her ultimate, getting S1, S2 ready, and then you're set to go. So it's really, really simple. And what makes her really nice to play is that it's a little bit more difficult than, for example, Vera. Vera is just a brain-dead champion. But in this case, it's actually a little bit more difficult to actually land the skills, because they're all skill shots. And yeah, it just feels good. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but in my terms, I have to have the feeling that I can get along with the hero just because, not because of the skills alone, but it has to feel kind of natural how the skills and the whole champion works. And if that is true, for example, it is true for Krixi, it's true for Liliana, I like Flash, for example, just to name a few mages, I can work with that champion. Necro, for me, for example, or Ryoma, feel completely off. I don't understand the movement, it's not smooth for me, and therefore I'm not good with these champions because I can't really feel how they play. This doesn't go for Krixi. Krixi is just supernatural, and as you can see, it works fairly well because we've got 9 kills already, and we are about to get our 10th. That's something that I can tell you right now because I have played the game and I know what's going to happen. Whoo, surprise! So here we go, fighting against Arthur again. Krixi has just received the damage coming from Laville, which is a really, really long stun. That must have been traveling through the whole map, because Krixi was standing dazed for seconds, so I guess that he was firing it from the left side of the map. Just if someone was a little bit confused and asking him or herself why why Krixi was standing in Dazzle for so long. Yeah, that was the Laville ult. Laville ult, if you guys don't know about it, Laville ult, the amount of time that you will stay in this dazed state is going to be longer the longer the projectile flies between the point of the casting and the point of impact where it's going to hit. So the longer it takes to fly around, the better it is. So you should always try to sneak it behind from the back, because that's going to be the most beneficial one. Here we go. This is a dead yawn. When I was using the ability, I thought I would not be able to kill him here, but it's basically quite simple. If I would not use the spell, of course I wouldn't kill him, so there is the slight chance. So if there is the chance of killing something, you should always go for it, because if you don't do it, if you don't even try, of course it can never work, and so you've got the chance to make it work. Our team is closing in. 38 versus 17, man, that was a blast. That was really something. Unfortunately, I do get killed here because I didn't even think in any kind of way that this would be the case, that Zephyrs would just jump straight into my face. I didn't think that he would have been that brave, but I think that was a moment of frustration and or having no options at all, so he just went straight for the nearest enemy that he can jump upon. That was me. Unfortunately, we're going to 12-6-14 right now, and now it's the time to just have one important team fight. This is the stuff that is going to end the game. My team knows it. Omen knows it. He is going to be a really good player at the end of the results. You guys are going to see it. And yeah, we are closing in. Let's go. A short shout of motivation written really, really badly. And now it's the time to rally for a team fight and to end this once and for all. And here we go. Omen is fighting Zephyrs. I think to split here is not the smartest decision, but you can see that just one hit against the opposing Krixi is just ending her life in a really, 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 really bad manner. I do get a 13th kill here, so I've got everything that I need in my pocket right now. Now it's time to get along with those minions to kill them in order to push the wave. That's super important, and many players are forgetting about that. You need the wave to contest the core, and as you can see, it's the three of us, so we've got a full live Malok. We've got Pain with us, so we don't have the craziest damage when it comes to tower damage, but the enemy is still on cooldown. And now we're closing in, starting to deal damage to the tower. My team gets hit, and I just said to myself, this is the perfect time to be untargetable, and here we go. We won this game with our team, but I think we had a great impact with 13 kills in total. So I think if the enemy team isn't the greatest and you just follow what I said about the skills, and you always use your S2 as an initiate skill, and then afterwards you follow up with your S1, or you have the ultimate already located, then I think you can do good. 12.2, I think that's a reasonable result. Here you can see how much damage I did, so that's 33.7 damage, so 1/3 cut came from me. I had the best fight participation in game with Omen, and I think that's actually quite worthwhile. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I hope you can take some information out of that for your games. If you want to start Krixi, I think she's a fun character to play with. And yeah, if you liked it, give me a thumbs up, and see ya.